Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of As Told by Us, the podcast. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As you all know, this is Men's Mental Health Month, and we've decided to do something different at As Told by Us, and we're going to have an all-men panel. For this episode, we're going to be talking about various issues that affect us as gents. I think what we will actually start by doing is having a brief introduction by our panelists, one by one. First of all, thank you guys for coming through. Yeah, so I think, which way do we start? We start with Simon, do we start with Farai?
Either way, man.
Either way.
All right, go for it.
All right, let's go with Farai.
My name is Farai. What else do you want to know about me?
What do you do, maybe?
Alright, cool. Farai, 34, born and raised.
Yeah.
And I'm an accountant.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
I'm Arnold, 34, just like Farai. We actually went to primary school together.
Dope.
Actually, didn't we go to nursery school together?
Yeah, nursery school. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
We've been together for a minute.
Yeah, 34. I'm a personal trainer and a sports coach.
Dope.
All right, Simon is the name. 32, I'm the young in here, clearly. 32, also an accountant as well. Sports fan. Go Lakers.
Hey, shout out.
That's a bad take.
That's a bad thing. And you're not the youngin, bro. I'm the youngin, apparently, because I'm 31, but I'm going on 32, so I'm in the 32nd year. So. Yeah. All right. So, our first topic, right? We're going to be talking about economic pressures, right? As gents, it's always, we're all about the money. We're trying to provide etc. So we have a submission here that goes, the pressures and stresses of living in Zim are hectic. Facts. You're literally fighting for survival and your life, and to just make it through the week. Building anything in Zim is a lot. It needs strength. How y'all feel about that?
Let me say this. I think a couple years ago, yes, I would fully believe this. All right. But the more I think as a guy, you try to make a scene, let me try and make it on my own. Let me try to do my own thing. Maybe not listen to advice from my elders, i.e. like your parents or whoever who's actually lived the life, right? And you're like, let me do it on my own. Because you were basing off your rags to riches experience of TV. Right? So you're thinking, nah, if I put in my grind, put in my good shift, I'll be bossing out there. I'll get there eventually. Then you realize, Zim is not like that. Zim is not like that. Right? So you get to a point where your people have told you to do something and you say, nah. So it's becoming a little difficult, I think, out of our own fuck ups. Right? Well, I'm allowed to swear on this.
Yeah.
I know, shut up. So yeah, it's come to a point where it's come through our own fuck ups where we could have done things faster, but we wanted to go a different route.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's difficult. We wanted to give our own hero story. And then the older you got, the more you realized, maybe not. Maybe not. So I wouldn't say it's difficult, but challenging, yes. Because now there's a lot more hurdles to cross over. You can't really do it yourself. You have to know someone who knows someone. And rock like that. So I wouldn't say it's difficult, but challenging. Absolutely.
Challenging.
Before I give my take, I want to ask. You said, Farai, that is. You said you don't think it's difficult. If we had done things differently, it would have been better.
Oh, yeah.
Do you not think, I agree with you, but do you also not think that there's also hurdles that have been put by those that came before us that are a bit tougher for us to...
So I feel like the older generation, they try to help us, but then out of our own fuck ups, we didn't listen. So we got in this situation based off us, right? But then,
maybe give an example so we fully understand what you mean.
Cool. So in the instance of, us being black as one, right? your parents would have always told you, hey, yo, maybe it'll be best if you go in this direction. But you were saying, nah, I'm trying to be my own man. I want to have my own plan. I have my own vision. I'm trying to do something. And I was saying, like, before that, it would have been come off Western media or your movies where you're rags to riches, right? And then when you finally get to the point where you thought, this is my vision, then you realize I could have done something better, or I could have done what they told me years ago. Now I'm in this little fucked up situation out of my own arrogance and, I mean, in the words of our friends, Uninaro type of situation, right? And then when you then go to them, you're like, okay, cool. What I did didn't pan out. Now can you help me then come up to this? Now you've maybe wasted 4 years, right? Like in my instance, yes, I'm an accountant now. But when I left school, I was like, nah, let me go be a lawyer. Let me go be a lawyer, right? Now that I've done that, now then me becoming an accountant, my mom was like, if you just listen to me. If you just listen to me to just from your O level to A level, your financials were good. You could have just become an accountant straight off rip. But you're like, nah, me an accountant. I'm not smarking. I don't like this, right? Now I come back afterwards, and then she's like, here we are. That way we started. So that's in terms of the economy, and I could have done better. I could have even pushed further. And maybe the economy would be kinder to me if I listened back then than trying to trailblaze my own path, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So, damn. Simon, what's your take, fam?
Hey, I think I agree with both. To be honest, I think like Farah said, there's some things like our parents would have advised us to do back in I think maybe a few years back or whatever, 5-10 years ago, but you didn't listen. But sometimes I think you must make your own pathway. I think not necessarily follow your dream, but I think follow your gut. It might not work out. That's fair, but I think that's part of life. You can start to do something. If it doesn't work out, doesn't work out. Don't live in regrets because okay, they said this, but now it's not panning out as they would have wanted. Now you're going back to the initial thing that you said. I think that's just part of life, and I think people shouldn't stick onto it that massively bad. Now regretting your life decision. I think that's just part of life. In the Zim context, maybe I get it because Zim is not normal. Zim is really not normal. One decision which is just maybe part of life in the normal sense of other countries might be normal. You can come back from it, but in Zim you might not come back from it. So I think, for now I'll say that.
Now what I'm saying is true, especially in the terms of economy, the topic. Your trailblazing thing, you were thinking the economy is on my side. I am going to shine, And then when you come back home or even if you stay home or then you realize, man, maybe it's not for me.
Yeah.
Right?
I can speak for myself and friends and even some guy that I met a couple of days ago. So I hear you. I hear you, Fuzz, when you say we should have listened to our parents. But I've got people that listen to their parents and went, followed how things should be. But they're still struggling, bro. I know, especially in the law faculty, I know many lawyers, my cousin included, who stays crying to Kushandra government for getting $200. And $200 ain't getting you nothing in Zim, bro. And most it's getting you to work and bag a couple groceries, and that's it. Rent house to badara. And you followed your parents, you've listened to your parents, your parents told you, I think your destiny is to be a lawyer. You went and you did that, you came back and shit is tough. So I hear you, but like I said, I still think there's a big aspect of, obviously it's the economy and other things. I just think our predecessors didn't really set the pathway the way it should have been. And I don't mean our parents, I mean obviously there's other aspects at play. But yeah, Zima enough formula, guys.
Zima enough formula. Mr. Madzika.
I think that's true, man. There's really no formula to the right thing because you can follow your parents' advice and doesn't work out, and you can try and do your own thing, and
Still doesn't.
I think the best example is like if you look at artists, like if you look at Volts, if you look at DJs and I Made It Believe, and they went to school and they follow their parents' thing, but they still on the side pursued their passion. So yeah.
Hey there, lovely listeners. So listen, running a podcast in Zimbabwe is quite the journey. It requires resources. And when I say resources, I mean money, time, and effort. Wondering how you can support us? Well, we've got you covered with Inbucks. Or World Remit if you're on the other side of the world and you'd love to contribute. Our Inbucks number is 077-810-3171. Whether it's the cost of a cup of coffee or a virtual high five, every little bit of your support counts. Remember, supporting our podcast isn't about funding our caffeine addiction, though it is in part, but your support keeps our podcast alive and thriving and helps us create more content, ensuring that our laughter echoes through your devices. Thanks again for being part of our community and for listening.
And how does like time, the feeling of running out of time factor into this? Like we have a contribution here where it goes like, I think the major one is financial stability. The Zim economy is killing us and we're not getting any younger. Right.
Brother, on that one, I think my cousin was telling me this, right? Social media has kind of ruined how we view timelines and our financial structure. Yes, the economy is tough. Yes, your salary is not really what, let's say, your peers who are working outside the country are, because the economy is better. Fair and fine. But it comes to a point you would see, like I'm gonna say, you're not fooling nature. What is it? You get to a point where you realize, yes, I'm running out of time. One, maybe I'm a certain age. I don't even have deposit your mortgage yet, right? I probably don't even have
My own car.
I'm thinking about Rora and I'm like, big dog, where is this money coming from? Right? Even before you get to Rora, the engagement ring and you're like, I could do so much with that money just to buy a ring. Sounds crazy. So you get all these added pressures, and then yes, as a gent, you start to think that obviously as a gent, or from our parents or in all the generations are telling us, do better, provide. And then you get up and you're like, I am trying my earnest best. But this country is just sucking everything out of me. And so my cousin was telling me, as my point was trying to say at the beginning, he only said, to be fair, people only start earning money from 38 going up.
Damn.
If you look at all your people who are your bingas or the rich people in your family or whatever, no one else was doing that shit at late 20s, early to mid 30s. All these people are like, maybe you can get something. But running out of time, you still got a lot of time before you even see your first meal.
But the thing with Zim is, since it's not a normal country, the life expectancy is the issue. So you have a smaller gap than in other countries. Like in the States, if you don't have money by 30, it's still cool. You've got time. Your big actors make it big in their 50s and then they make their millions. But in Zim, by the time you're 50, half your friends are gone. And you are very close to also going.
It's a man culture aspect I've never thought of.
Bro, I was mind blown. I was like, damn, the life expectancy is
The life expectancy is the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, if you say that, then I do feel like I'm running out of time. I was saying it from a point of like I was talking about yesterday, right? When I was having a bride with my friends, and everyone was just sitting down, and then my mom then came and was like, "You guys are all a certain age, but none of you have done the societal norm things for people your age." we're talking about marriage and kids and whatnot, right? So maybe us as friends, we're all having a la-di-da time. Everyone's having a good time. No stresses in life. We're all vibes. And then this question is dropped, and you realize, hey, dog, to be fair, how old am I turning this year? And what have I really done for someone who's turning that age this year?
You sit there and you think, okay, I was born whatever year. When I was born, my parents were mid-30s, which is what we are now.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, they had a house, they had cars. What do you have now, bro? You're nowhere close to having
A fraction.
Yeah.
A fraction. I know my parents are age 34.
Yeah.
Hey, dog, house in Borrowdale. Out here. Good time living. I'm even like, bread. Can I even get a cluster? For rent, for buying, for purchasing. So but then it's also, I think, the economy at our parents' age was completely different. These guys came out.
Yeah.
They came out from varsity and they had good paying jobs straight out the bat. They were people waiting with.
They got money to go to uni.
They got money to go to uni, and as soon as you finish uni, someone was handing you a phone like, "Hey, yo, I'll see you at work on Monday."
Damn.
You can do your best degree, economics. You can do the degree that your parents will say this is the best degree in.
Yeah.
Come back home, my boy. You'll be looking at a computer screen and Indeed for months on end. Not even one interview like, "Hey, yo, we like who you are. Please come and see us."
Nope. Damn. So there's this contribution that goes the 30s, man, the 30s, right? Just in line with what we're talking about, this age thing. Said like you're just getting to grips with who you are in the world, and the pressure is on to become something or someone. Whether it's business, relationships, fatherhood, or family issues, this shit is flying out of the woodworks every day. It's a constant fight between feeling helpless and calling it quits. And yet you need to wake up every day and feel good about yourself. It's crazy. I recently was at a funeral, right? And I was like, one of my aunts had passed, and like I'm looking at like all my uncles, my dad, they're doing all the serious like funeral organization, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like I was just there like,
Bro, you talking about a funeral? I hear you, right?
Yeah.
Because I was at a funeral last year. One of my friends, dad's passed away.
yeah,
Right? And we were at the funeral. So obviously the parents, the uncles, whatnot, they're doing the church songs, the whole night long. Our section was basically the mid-30s.
yeah,
Guys trying to support and console our friend. Tantino Mojedu is having a good time. When I say good time, I literally mean that. And not even like we're trying to be disrespectful to the passing that just happened. It was supporting our home like in the time of grief.
Yeah.
But it was like a small party. It was a small chillers. Everyone had a cooler box. Right? The bottles coming out the cooler box were not like 2 years of Shimamu. Right? We're talking about you had your Don Julio's, your Hennessy's popping out.
Yeah.
I think one point in time someone even brought out a shisha. Well, right? And we're all having it. And everyone's like, we had our own speaker playing our own tunes.
Yeah.
He was there. But you could tell like, I think maybe. And then at that point, I was like, if our rents and that generation disappears, and then one of us,
I literally had this question.
then one of us passes,
We have no idea.
we have no idea.
we have no idea.
No one knows. you.
I think we are right for each other. We know the vibe that we want.
No, yeah.
I think it's actually a switching of traditions. Like the traditions that the older generations had are not going to be the same traditions we have.
Yes.
So you think that when we are 50,
Traditions are changing.
So yeah,
when we were 50, 60, it will still be this cooler box at funerals thing, or by then we would have, I guess, quote unquote, mature.
I'm not trying to get 6 feet under, and I'm reading Coco Cha outside the cabin. Right? I'm gonna knock you on the head, and I'm out here open casket.
I agree with what T is saying. It was like, I think the changing of tradition.
Yeah, traditions.
I don't think we have to necessarily stick to what our parents' generation are. But I think we can, in our own way, we can like it's a funeral, right? We can have our own respectful way of supporting our friend or whatever in our own way. I think that was their way. They were brought in different circumstances, different generations. As we are social media, TikTok, I'm not saying like but I think our own respectful way. I think maybe combine the two right now at this current stage, in our 30s, it might sound like it's borderline, but in like 10 years, 15 years from now, we'll understand like, no, this is okay. Yeah, that makes sense for me.
No, I hear what Sam is saying, because my cousin then actually said the way we are celebrating was more or less respect to console. It was not like people were just saying, "Oh, it's a free Saturday, let's link up." And this is where the spot is at. On we're both gonna have shisha and our drinks and stuff. I think it was at a point where we don't know any church songs. We all can then sit in silence and all of us be sad. Right? Also celebrating your dad's life, because he was also a great gent. But we can't bring out Ngoma Chotanga until sunrise, right? What we can do is pull up our coofers. You have a shot, I have a shot, we laugh,
Let you forget for a bit.
Because even after that, it's not like he resented anyone who was there. We're still friends with him. He still talks to us every other day. So I doubt he took that as a disrespectful thing. So I guess what you said, yeah. They are changing culture. They are changing cultures. And then of course, when I die, man, I expect
You wanna hear them go,
man, I need to get that speaker down. Someone raise it above the head.
So I want to touch on the economy and relationships, right? Because obviously, like people need to be taken out, etc, and there's pressure, and social media, as you mentioned earlier, is like giving us like a lot of like pressure, and we see discourse every other day on Twitter about these things. So I'm just curious to find out, like, how are y'all navigating like being a man in 2025 in Zimbabwe in the dating pool financially?
Crazy boy. Crazy boy. Listen, where to even begin? Where to even begin?
Yeah, because I mean, off the record, we're talking about like La Parada and like all these places.
Yeah. So one of my mans, right? Like I was telling the boys earlier, he was asking a girl out for a date. And then he was like, "Oh, what do you like drinking?" And then she said, "I like wine." I was like, "Bless, where do you usually drink your wine?" The girl said, "La Parada." Right? Wine and La Parada, not really that crazy. Right? One bottle, probably see you back $20-$30 for like the cheapest bottle that they have. I'm not saying everyone's got $20-$30 to fly off.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad figure. That's usually, even if you go to maybe liquor supplies, is like $5 to $10 a bottle. But it's not a bad markup from your wholesaler to La Parada.
Yeah.
But in his mind, he was saying the audacity to make you think that La Parada is like your base level, right? That already means we're not just having wine. I'm not just splitting with $20, right? We're gonna have food. We're gonna have food. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know how this nigga's lifestyle is. Right? There could be $100 from him.
That was the first date, right?
Not the first date. I'm just trying to talk to you. Hey, we're just trying to vibe out. Dating is a whole different ballgame. We're talking about talking stage.
Let's just hang out, basically.
Just hang out.
Hang out at the parade.
We've been on WhatsApp from Monday. It's now Thursday. I'm asking, hey, your Friday, what? Right? And they say, La Parada. And I'm like, bro, La Parada, thankfully, it's got the menu online. Let me go run it. I see what it looks like. And I'm like, So we're laughing at him. I'm like, are you going to check out? Then he's like, I'm not taking that. I'm out. I put it. And I'm like, why? Then he's like, if La Parada is first link up, that means La Parada might be, that's it.
Yeah.
Because she's going to want to do the social media thing. She's going to say Friday La Parada, where we all have the same 24 hours. What are you doing with your life? To the other hands out there. Right? So now the economy, yes, we don't know where people are coming from, like their own families. We don't know their salaries. We don't know whatnot. But it's a little bit of a difficult in this country.
It's a mixture of the economy and social media. Social media has lied to these girls. They see all these things. And to be fair, yeah, it's cool. There's people that can afford it. There's people that have boyfriends or mbingas or whoever they have that is, taking them to all these crazy places. But to be fair, the average Zimbabwean cannot afford to do that on a weekly basis. Maybe once off numbers, just save to Marindo Dash. It's my girl's birthday. Let me do something special. And something special isn't take her to Cape Town. But for them, do something special. I don't know. When you do something special, and where? I don't know where. Let's just go out of town. Let's get a B&B, chill. For them, they're thinking, and I've had this chat with a couple of friends, girls, where I'm like, guys, Saga. Actually, I said to my one very good friend, you guys all know her, actually, she's a part of the podcast. I asked her, I was like, Saga, can this Namari, must I stay single? And she said, yeah, stay single.
That is wild.
That is what she said. Why? She said, bro, if you broke, stay single.
No, but I hear that. I hear that. I'm not saying like it's a slight on anyone. Because okay, now you've passed talking stage, now we're dating and we're vibing, right? Trust me, you're gonna need to start thinking about nails. Yeah, I don't know where your hand would like to go for nails, but there's a range. There's some places. If she likes to do it in town, count your lucky stars. If she likes to do it in town, where it's like what, maybe 15 to 30 bucks for like the nails on the hands, count your lucky stars. If she likes to go to places that have a branch, hey, big dog. I got some news for you. Right? So you start to think like, okay, I have my own life to live. But then I'm also trying to be a provider for my girl. And then you realize,
Your girl, not your wife.
no, this is your girl.
Girl.
Girlfriend.
Provider, okay.
This is your provider. I'm not saying like, hey yo, get her the rent. Unless you build like that, then shout out to you. Right? But don't worry. Nigga, hit me up on anytime. We know what Econet looks like these days. You press that star 143, you know what it look like. Right? So now you're thinking, not really gonna $40 deep.
But I think Oaks are the problem in this dating movement. Like Oaks always on to play like there's some important guy, like hey it's just that's the problem with Oaks. They always want to play like they're big, and I feel like the moment you talk to her and you're playing like you're big, she has expectations. Excuse me. So that's the problem. Once you raise those expectations, you have to maintain that level. That's
On that part, supporting that part as well. I think as a gent, like it's okay. As a gent, I think be comfortable with who you are and whatever you earn, and where you are in the stage of life. If you've got those three things right, I don't think you should be now like trying to pretend like someone you are not. Because like the lapaladas of the world or whatever, the nails, whatever, they're always gonna be there. But if you have set a standard for yourself that okay, I can only do this for my hand in whatever, do that. If you can't, then I'm not saying like be broke, but like maintain your own standards, be comfortable with who you are. And if the hand, you see, if they're saying, oh, there's certain things, right? If you can't meet those expectations,
move on, bro. Come clean to these girls.
Oaks are a problem.
Y'all niggas trying to be too much. You said La Parado is busy. That hand won't be there. She'll be out of here. I wonder where you feel like my heart and soul to this girl. She'll be out of here.
So how do you guys feel about the chat? The red pill gang versus like simps, right? So we have simps in quotes. So we have like I'll put maybe this dude was named Russell Wilson. The dude is with Sierra, right? Then we have obviously Andrew Tate on this side.
Why are we putting Russell Wilson?
No, he's not like.
But social media makes it like he's a simp.
He's a simp.
He's a simp.
Yeah.
Right?
And why is that like a thing where it's like if you are affectionate to and you're automatically a simp, but then on the other side, the red pill guys will be like, yo, just, the Shaddaification of the Zim society.
The problem is just looking at anything those two extremes is just ridiculous. Like there's the blue extreme, which is just insane. The red extreme is just insane.
Just insane.
And you
can be a good fan in the middle, though.
Yeah.
A good fan in the middle. Like, you just have to. This is the thing. A sim is a sim, dog. But then,
What defines a sim?
I was gonna ask.
I don't think you
a sim is basically one of those niggas where you had 5 friends, right? We were knee deep as homies, right? Girl comes in your picture. You say, hey, yo, this is my girl. Everyone's like, shout out. We see how you're moving. Right? You had 5 friends. Now you got 3 friends.
Oh, damn.
After that, you got 2 friends. After that, your friend is your girl. Right? And it's not even that you and your friends fell out. It's just at a point where your girl became your life.
Your life. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a symbol.
Your girl became your life. It's not like she was saying anything bad about your friends.
Okay.
But it got to a point where every waking moment would miss. Right? But then it's also, God forbid, I actually love my girl. Like, maybe I'm actually knee deep about this woman. Right? Is there going to be some changes? Yeah. And I think as friends, we just have to understand, like, that isn't love. Who are we to stop him from flourishing? Right? I think even as friends, you actually need to look at friends and be like, I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for you. Yeah.
I'm happy for you that you actually found someone where you're doing random shit like sipping paint. Right? But you've never spoken about sipping paint an inkling in your life. Every time we linked up, no one ever said, hey, yo, you want to pick up a paintbrush? Some wine with you? No one ever said as gang, I'm like, hey, yo, ganger. What about if we hike out Dumbo Shower Rock? So, bro, are you niggas rocking with me? No one has ever said that. But all of a sudden, right now, you're out here, your whole lifestyle switches up. Even your people, you're like your people. And your family will be like, hey, yo, this you, big dog.
I get the extreme switch up, but I also hear people say, just like minor switch ups where he's now gone to sipping paint. You're like, but Simon has never spoken about sipping paint. Or Simon has never been to such a place. Simon is not doing this, but he hasn't completely switched. He will come and hang out with the boys. He'll see Jones every now and then. He's spending a lot of time with his hand and doing things that we find strange. Like Simon, boy, and people are still like, Simon is a simp. But the truth is, and all of us can attest to this, a hand will make every nigga do things that they've never done before.
That's
You're
right.
still gonna go do their sip and paint at some point because you wanna please your hand. You're gonna go hike up Dumbo Shower. Even though you hate walking, you'll literally drive from here to the corner of the road.
You know, like an indicator when the last one switch up for a hand, when you turn the tree, start to switch up. When you used to bother the above geisha, now you got shower gel. you got scrub gloves all of a sudden. Exfoliating gloves. Right? You now got skincare routines and shit.
Yeah.
I get into your bathroom, open up the medicine cabinet. I'm out here seeing you got words I can't even pronounce. I'm like, hey, this you?
True. And I think my definition of simping before was kind of like, I actually like the way we're talking about it here, because I was thinking of like when affection is sort of not reciprocated.
Yeah.
When it's just like the nigga is doing everything, but like
I don't
think that's
that's
not simping.
That's just being stupid. Yeah, or even name your parents with watch Giswa.
Funny you bring this up. I was with a couple of my friends last night and we were speaking about another friend of ours who literally does just that.
Oh damn.
He meets a girl. So when I first met this guy, I met him through a mutual friend, and the mutual friend kept saying this nigga falls in love hard. And the friend Simba is in Germany. I think this nigga falls in love hard, but Simba no one's Ramon West. So I just thought Simba's just being Simba.
Yeah.
Until over time I started seeing, hey. This one, like he said, I started thinking, first of all, you boy, Kupusa, that he's doing.
Yeah.
And then, he was he's been with a couple of different girls. And I thought over time you learn. But I promise you, this nigga hasn't learned nothing.
I don't know that.
Every new person he meets is exactly like that. And we had this conversation yesterday where people were asking me, "Bruh, this is your boy. Yes, your boy." I guess that's just his personality.
But I feel like that's the way to go, guys. Like
No.
we've got a limited amount of time on Earth, man. Like if you find someone whose vibe you enjoy,
Simple, man.
Go all in.
Simple.
all in, man.
But I understand that. But you say like, but it's okay. You're all in all for your goal, right? But it's not reciprocal.
It's not simple.
It's not
Yeah, no, that's simple.
No, but then I can't be mad at it if it brings you joy. If yes, we can see that the girl's taking advantage of your quote unquote generosity,
Yeah.
right? And you are happy,
Yeah.
right? Every time your girl comes up, we can see like you brighten up. Like you're not even the same guy we knew. Like you were happy, you're out here dapping everyone. Nigga, you're the Mio Ferrari when your girls around, right?
Is the girl also happy with him?
That is a question for another day. We're talking about you as our friend, as the gents. Right?
So wait, you're saying that in that situation you're supporting your boy?
I support my boy because
Even though you know that this might lead to...
Oh yeah, because when it goes to shit, guess what's coming back? The nigga's coming back with the fray. And he's going to start bleeding about his girl. He's going to start saying, maybe I did too much. Why didn't you guys tell me about this? And I'm like, even if I did, I'm not doing it.
But the thing you have to realize is heartbreak is heartbreak. The nonchalant dude and the dude who's 100% in.
Yeah.
Heartbreak, yeah, we are.
Who am I to say your aunt is not loving you? Now, fuck around, now I don't get an invite to the wedding. Jack, I want to be at the wedding.
And talking about weddings, actually, this is a great segue, right? Which is our next theme, which is upbringing, right? There's a submission here where it goes, Anze, I guess you all could talk about how men don't get as much formal training on how to be in a marriage as much as women do. Anze, maybe try to get a conversation going about how guys can be taught some of the requisite skills about how to be a husband and a father, but without telling them they're trash or to shame them for not being good at these things.
You see, no. We can't be taught because our generation came from a different era. But like our dads were provide and
that's
that's it.
job.
That's your one and only job.
Your wife was
Your wife. So that's why the training has gone generation after generation. Your dad just made the sheets. If your dad was a loving guy, shout out to the boy.
Yeah.
If your dad was not a loving guy, yet again, shout out to the boy. I can't hate you. You have your own reasons for either being a good dad or a bad dad. You have your own reasons for it. But training for guys, that's crazy. That's sticky.
one thing I do like.
Who's training us is the question. It's definitely not our dads.
Our uncles. Our Yosekuru.
But our sekurus are just as...
They're more or less
They're like our dads, basically.
Yeah.
'Cause they're from the same generation. They know the same things. They probably treat the way your dad's treating you. It might be slightly different from person to person, but generally, they're all treating their wives
The same
more or
way.
less the same way. They're providing. They make the sheets. They make sure the sheets are there, and that's literally what they tell us. But beyond that, obviously, I'm assuming the person who came up with that is a hand.
It's definitely, the tonality I get to, this is definitely a hand. Yeah.
I think for me, like the training part, right? I think it doesn't necessarily have to be formal training. What I can speak from my perspective, like I started listening to this podcast. It's a guy's podcast. I don't know if you guys, a South African guy called Jabu Squani. Like, he's got a podcast big on marriage, like, but mostly speaking about like how gents like you have to be a loving husband, like. All those things, I think listening to that is a form of training. Doesn't necessarily have to be formal, but I've learned a lot from that. I just forgot the podcast name, but I think that's the form of training. I think our parents or our fathers never had that. I think the day and age now we have now, I think the traditions shifting, whatever. I think that's the form of training we have.
Yeah, I think the training comes in learning from our parents' mistakes, because I think in as much as yes, our dads were providers. I mean, that's great. But there are aspects where you're like, my body used to mess up with my mom, like so. Yeah. You see it. What's crazy is with most gents, they'll speak about it. They'll be like, my dad treated my mom badly, what. What's crazy is they end up doing the exact same thing. instead of learning from that mistake and using that as your, I guess, quote unquote training. People just continue to perpetuate the exact same thing.
Yeah, because we fall on the excuse of those who need to automate.
Yeah, plus you figure I came out all right, so
clearly,
what's
the next
there's
generation,
nothing wrong
the
with
next generation
this.
will just be fast. Right?
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, I think formal training where you sit down with your relatives and like, this is what you need to do to be a good husband or a good father. It's not coming from our parents' generation and relatives.
Another interesting point, like Hans have bridal shower or something, and the way like they'll be being told like gents will have a bachelor's, but it's not really is strippers in whatever for the most part. More like unless, if you go to the church side of like the bachelor whatever, it's also like it's controversial, but it's more churchy vibes than the actual like in the context of like remove the church aspect of like the or the spiritual side of marriage. Like be like as a gent. There's less of that. So I think for guys a bit it's touch and go. There isn't like a proper thing that can be a training or something like that.
We're all Shona here, right? Debele. In Shona culture, do we have there's no formal process, right? Like I know for Hans, they have like some sort of, they go through something for marriage. And if I'm not mistaken, that's not a traditional.
Let me just be a gent. Just be a gent.
Just be a gent.
Just be a gent. Know how to kill a cow. Respectful, I guess. I wouldn't say there's no training, because if I say there's no training, that's a lie. The training is there, but it's not as strong as the females.
I mean, funny the conversations padare.
Okay.
It's like,
But that's even outdated now. Not many people have been doing that. Not many people are saying with the and
in Debele culture, is there anything for the gents?
Not really.
Just be a nigga.
Just be a nigga.
Make sheets.
So what would be your requisites? Because here I think she's talking about like some women have these requisites which they're supposed to have. From our perspective as gents, what are the requisites which we look for in a wife? Like what makes a good wife?
Are we about to go left or just so that we know exactly where to tread?
I think it varies with
it varies with people. I mean, if we're talking about the common conception is I guess quote unquote, I don't use the word, but submissive is what most hands are told would be I guess obey your husband or be submissive to your husband. I guess your uncles and one of them like be a good cook, you know, clean the cabin. Basically, I don't want to say this word, but they're basically told to become homemakers, right? Where it's like you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to do. Basically in the Khoisan era, dog, hunting and gatherers, right? And it's been like that for generations, in quote, before even colonization was the thing. And that's become our culture. Is it changing? Yeah, it is. But the requisites of being a good wife or a good mate for marriage is basically that.
So how do you feel about right now in the current age we're living, where like hands are also like going to work and stuff like that, and like for example she's coming home like in the evening or maybe even later than you, how do you feel about like those gender roles, like who's supposed to cook, things like that?
I think that's the switch that he was referring to.
That's the switch.
Oh no, I'm a man. I love cooking. On vacation. So basically everything was like, if I get home before my wife, right, and I'm not even trying to pander anything, right? Maybe it's for me, I like cooking. If I'm going to be home before my wife, yes, I don't mind whipping up a good something, right? Because I hear some stories of my friends saying, oh, my husband was such a gentleman before we got married. Always held a pot, did his own laundry. All of a sudden, we get married, this nigga doesn't even touch a boxer. He just flings it off, kicks it in a corner, and if I don't touch it, that's where it resides. Right? I can come back she got stuck in traffic, whatever. It's now 8 o'clock. Not even a single pot is on the stove. This boy's watching TV. He's like, you got home late? Right? I'm hungry. But then in the dating stage, gentlemen. Yeah. Right? So I hear those horror stories and I'm like, damn, what changes that switch up in the guy from becoming from boyfriend, fiance to then husband?
Yeah, I think that goes back to, I guess, the training where you're told, Kudisha, a man, as your wife must cook for you, your wife must do this for you. So there's people, our generation, even some younger than us, that actually believe that. But once I'm married, my wife must do everything for me, which is crazy. And that's why I agree with you. But there is that switch up. Yeah, it's cool. There's still some aspects where the wife must do this, or there's still aspects of gender roles where you don't really expect to find your wife akamira balada ajigadzira, whatever it is. Obviously, as the gender, you're gonna do that. And there's some things that you're like, babe, please do this for me. But because over time women are now working, and sometimes even women are working better or more demanding jobs than we are, we'll end up getting into the kitchen, or we'll end up having to get into the kitchen. But yeah, again, you'll find there's gents out there that are never going to set foot in that kitchen.
I had a crazy bar. I mean, of course I won't drop names, but it was a crazy chat that I heard. And this guy said, if I ask for a sandwich, I'd expect the sandwich to be made. Right? And this was amongst, it wasn't just guys who were in this group, and this chat was having had. There was females as well. And the girls started getting along, like, hey, what do you mean? Why are you misogynistic? Blah, blah, blah. And then the guy was like, it's a wild thing to say. I get it. But when you come to me and you say you need A, B, C, I don't flinch. When I just ask for a sandwich, now you tell me 100 different things. If it's 50-50 and you're saying equality, yes, I'm not going to say make me a sandwich at fucking 2 a.m. But I'm just saying, you asked for this plethora of things. And all I said was, okay, babe, it'll be done. And sure enough, it was done. If you then come home at 8, yes, we were both working. Yes, I just got home earlier. If I then just say, hey, yo, make spaghetti and it's 30 minutes of your lifetime, why do I have 100 excuses?
Which is actually a great segue into our next theme. Theme number 3, women are the problem.
This one.
So your example is very timely. Because, hey, this chat, so someone submitted, we get told to open up, then when we do, it's either used against us or we're called too emotional, right?
Yep.
Obviously, this us as gents. Anything that brings us joy or peace is labeled as childish or immature. Why do we never catch a break from the women in our lives?
Come on.
Say that one more time.
Let me run it back.
Say that one more time.
We get told to open up, and when we do, it's either used against us or we're called too emotional. Anything that brings us joy or peace is labeled as childish or immature. Why do we never catch a break from the women in our lives? You know that moment where guys come from graft and you chill in your whip before going in, where you just need that young 20 minutes, just little defrost before you walk in the house. Bro, it's crazy.
You know, the thing is, right? I only started doing the defrost basically a year ago. Right? Yes, I'm not married, but I do get home, and I'll probably be in my car for give or take 40 minutes. I'm not even doing anything productive. I'm doom scrolling. I am on social media. I'm hopping from Instagram to TikTok to Twitter to whatever it is. But in that point in mind of, I just had a long ass day. These 30 minutes are like basically mine.
Life.
Right? I can think about there's no stress. My mind is blank as hell. I'm just scrolling and laughing. Sharing it be real, comment on something, and continue scrolling. Right? Once that door opens and then you hear I don't know, you hear outside come into your car, then you realize, fuck, now I gotta do something. So I hear that. Yes, the defrosting thing is a really important part. But no one will understand. I think it's the same thing with where Hans ask, I don't say Hans is the problem, but they do ask it because the problem is a wild ass bar. But Hans asks you, why do you take so much time in the shanks?
Peaceful.
I'm like, if my legs didn't go numb, I could be there for hours and then. I could be there on hours and then. Good Wi-Fi, phone full of battery. Yeah. But my actual business is done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The next 40 minutes. I'm just scrolling for the next 40 minutes. I don't even need to do anything. Yeah. Right? But someone will knock and be like, are you okay? They'll be like, yeah. I'm good. Just let me be. Yeah. Right? So I would say Hans are the problem, but Hans can become the fun police. Right? And it gets to a point where there's a thing such as black boy joy. When we were niggas and we're niggas deep. Boy, what a slice of life.
So I was with my one friend and his girlfriend, and we're at Jamtree. There was a border, so there were hardly any girls. This is like at 1:32 in the afternoon, there was a border. So there's maybe 1 or 2 girls there. She's sitting there and she's just looking around. And then she says, I don't get it. And I'm like, you don't get what? She's like, you men have so much fun when it's just men.
100%.
And I literally said to her, do you know how much joy you guys take away from it? Because some of the things we do, some of the things we find like just fun, and some of the things we find hilarious. Y'all will look at us like, no, it's like that message said, they look at you like you're childish. But like he said, black boy joy, where ons are just having a good time, a good laugh. But girls will be looking around and what the hell wrong with these things?
I've seen like these TikToks where it's like this guy, he has to actually sneak out just to turn on his PS5 because as soon as he hears that sound, like it's up. Like it's already an issue. It's like, why are you playing this game?
So the thing is, I think, to harken back on this, like I said, hands are not the problem. I think we are just boys in very big bodies. We still like our joy as much as we had as kids, because from a mental standpoint, boy, we are getting beaten left, right, and center. We don't show it, but I feel it as soon as I wake up, as soon as I hit my first kind regards, as soon as I'm saying someone is hitting me like, I don't know what it is, right? Whatever it is, then you have to think, you're like, oh, I remember I have a hand, so I need to then think about flowers for the next date and the next whatnot. I haven't taken my girl out in 2 weeks. You look at your bank account saying, lunch for who? Right? But you have to make it work. Yeah. And it gets to a point where it sounds like it comes to a point where it says women are not the problem. It's just we don't voice what we're going through. Even my closest friend won't even know what I'm going through. It's an internal battle daily. So I'm just a kid, dog. If I turn on my PS5, hit me beat on my PS5.
Yeah. Sam,
it's my thing goes both ways. I'm not saying women are the problem, but at the same time, I'm also saying they are the problem to some extent. Cool. The reason why I say that, right, is like as gents, we go through a lot of nonsense. Which you can't speak about. You can try speak about. The one time, like, okay, cool, I'm having a tough day. Baby girl, listen, hey, I'm having a tough time. A, B, C, D, E, D. I've listed my problems. I've voiced out what I'm going through. But on what she did wrong, like, but like I just came to you and I'm going through a lot. I'm just voicing. I'm venting basically. And in the process of venting, women have this thing. They'll be venting. They just want to be listened to. They say, "Oh, okay, sorry, baby. I'm sorry. What can I do to help you?" For the guys, we don't have that. For the most part, I have multiple examples that I have vented to my people. He even know, that's why I'm laughing. I vented and said, this is my problem, it's going on, and it turned out to be like, oh, I'm wrong.
Oh no, yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I was weaponized by our village.
I was going to say, because you're saying how women aren't the problem because we don't voice it out. I think women are the problem because the reason we don't voice it out, like Simon said, is it's then used against us. Like you read out there. Women use anything you say against you, bro. And women don't actually look, especially in a country like Zimbabwe where we all know what's happening. Men, women, everyone knows that things are tough here. But women still expect gents to do certain things. How you do it, they don't care. It's just get it done somehow. Get it done. And that's partly why we struggle. And then we don't speak about it. We're like, sure, don't you, Ribo? We have to man up and somehow get it done. And we keep quiet and try and make ends meet. Whether we do or we don't, that's a different story. But what I didn't agree with to what you said, Faz, is men don't speak because we just don't speak. I think men don't speak because yes, there's an aspect of you've grown up being told you're a man, you have to man up.
Don't cry.
Like you said, don't cry, don't do this, don't do that. But there is also an aspect of our generation of women also don't understand how to handle a guy who speaks. Like you'll speak and either, like Simon said, it's used against you. So don't do this.
So what's
this is something that's happened to me where I've gone venting to a hand and she just looks at me like, nigga, I don't know what to say to you. And I'm like, I'd rather go speak too fast. Let me talk to my boy. And he's my boy. Even if he doesn't have an answer, he might pull out a bottle of whiskey and be like, "Chat, let's drink. We'll figure it out over there." A girl might look at you and make you look stupid. He might look at you like, "Nigga,
you actually live with that conversation feeling more shitty than you came in.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Women don't understand that us being immature is therapy. Low key. Because it's at a point where if I get with my friends and you call it childish, but to me it's therapy. Because there is literally, I mean, if we're all of the same ilk and all of the same mind, and if I say something outlandish, no one is saying, cancel this nigga. Everyone just goes, I might not agree, but it sounds funny. Yeah. So we're going to laugh about it, but there's never going to be a point where there's no judgment. There is complete, like I said, black boy joy. From the first time you link up to the time of, hey, yo, guys, I'll see you later. That whole time, I'm missing. There is no one judging anyone from whatever economic situation you're going through. If your cabin is tense with your boys will never even ask, even if you don't tell your boys with the gang and the stress. But even if you do, then tell your boys with the gang and the stress. I think there's a good fraction of your boys that'll come together and be like, I cool, my dog. Please talk to me tomorrow. And we can sort simple things out. So women would say, they'll look at that and then say we're childish, but it's not childish. Pachelu is like a therapy session. By the time I come back home and I say, how's boys' night? Fucking fantastic. What did you do? A bunch of bullshit. A bunch of tomfoolery. But trust me, I'm looking forward to the next one. To the next one. Because in my mind, I'm thinking stress and down from life, from work, from family, from my own inner demons in that 5 hours. Silence.